Approach next Saturday's point of no return, the second test. They'll be anxious to maintain that record here at Headingley. A week after leading Great Britain at Wembley, Gary Schofield faces the Kiwis again. But it's a day of split loyalties for Kevin Iro, the classy centre who played for his country at Wembley. Leeds played in the big league on Tuesday, and when Neil Roebuck plundered the try in the closing minutes for Featherstone, Leeds suffered their fourth defeat in 8 starts. It's always a special moment when a Yorkshire side beats Leeds. 24 hours later, the Kiwis got their tour back on track with victory over St Helens. After the Wembley defeat, it was imperative that they won. The Saints fielded a side bristling with internationals themselves, but Howie Tamerty's substitutions came up trumps when Mark Nixon held off George Mann's challenge to score. It was a win which restored the faith in the Kiwi camp. It's quite a day for one of them, Morven Edwards, who was Leeds full-back before they signed Alan Tate. But when they were last on Sky, it was this long-range effort at Wigan which sent the Kiwis to Wembley in good heart. And he's got it under the stick. Gary Freeman is their fiercest competitor. He almost signed for Doug Lawton in his witness days. He knows New Zealand must win today. Leeds lost to Featherstone midweek. It was their 4th defeat of the season. The pressure's building here at Headingley. At least today they're away from the hurly-burly of the big league. Alan Tate is their full-back, substitute at Wembley last Saturday. On the wing, it's Jim Fallon, the former Bath and England B winger. In the centre, Kevin Iro played for New Zealand at Wembley. He's playing against them today. There's no Craig Innes, he's injured, so Simon Irving continues to deputise in the centre wearing 4. And 19-year-old Jonathan Scales makes his 5th appearance in the Leeds side since signing from Gosford. Gary Schofield led the British at Wembley against the Kiwis. He leads his club out this afternoon. And young Gareth Stevens has recovered from injury he sustained against Featherstone. He continues at scrum half. Significant that because Andy Gregory's fit again, but only on the bench. Up front, Neil Harmon has made a consistent start to his Leeds career. He plays at 8. James Lowes hasn't missed a match since he was transferred from Hunslet. It's 38 consecutive appearances now. Gary Rose, the ex-Featherstone forward, is a Leeds lad, but he was signed from Rovers only this season. In the second row, it's the former Workington man Ian Scott, who played in the Divisional Premiership final last May, and the man who claimed notoriety in the game by becoming only the second man ever to be sent off in a Wembley final last season, Richie Ayres, who Leeds have taken from Widnes. The lineup's completed by the New Zealand international Gary Mercer. He played all 3 tests against Australia last summer, and the coach who'll be looking for Leeds to take some form with them back into the big league is Doug Lawton. It's always an important match when the tourists turn up at Headingley, and the Leeds public will turn out in force to see them today. Now, New Zealand have never lost at Leeds in a tour match, but they've got a poor record in tests here at Headingley. They've only managed 2 wins from 8 test matches here. And the 3rd of this season's series will be here in Leeds on November the 6th. Peter Edwards scored a try at St Helens in midweek. He continues at full-back today. Sean Hoppy takes the place of Darryl Halligan on the wing. Halligan injured yesterday in training. Eva Rapati completes the family set. Brother Joe and Tia at St Helens are both former Kiwi tourists. Morven Edwards, full-back at Wembley last Saturday, and a former Leeds man who lost his Headingley place when Alan Tate was signed. Jason Donnelly, who played with Keithley in the 1990-91 season, he's on the wing in 5. Aaron Whittaker retains his place at standoff after a good display at St Helens. Gary Freeman is the man who really does make these Kiwis tick. The halfback is captain of the tour. Jason Lowry came on as a substitute at Wembley and he made his test debut. He's the prop forward today. Hooker is the former Warrington star Dwayne Mann, signed by the Auckland Warriors for 1995. And Brent Stewart, formerly with Halifax, completes the front row. Robert Peaver takes over in the second row for the injured Quentin Pongia. Alongside him is David Lomax, and he's making only his 2nd start of this tour. Jason Mackey completes the lineup. The loose forward was man of the match against Wales. He's been the real find of this tour so far. The coach is Howie Tamerty. He knows that the Kiwis must improve, and they will have to improve that record of just 2 wins in the last 9 tests if the series against Great Britain is to be kept alive at Wigan on Saturday. So a big game in prospect here as the Kiwis continue their tour. It's Leeds against New Zealand, the whole match coming up here on Sky Sports. Headingley, led by Gary Freeman. Freeman, 3 tries here when New Zealand won 34 points to 4 on the 1989 Kiwi Tour. As we said, the New Zealanders have never lost a tour match here at Headingley, but they haven't had the best of fortunes when it's come to test matches. Only 2 of 8 tests have been won here, and Gary Schofield, having led Great Britain so ably against the New Zealand tourists at Wembley last Saturday, leads his team out for this latest battle. Of course, Ellery Hanley, the captain of Leeds, currently out injured. Let's check the Leeds side out for you again, and Tate is the fullback, Fallon, Iro, Irving, Scales, Schofield, who's captain, and Stevens. And up front it's Harmon, Lowes, Rose, Scott, Ayres and Mercer. And on the bench it's Graham Holroyd, Andy Gregory, Francis Cummins and Jim Latham. The New Zealanders have got Peter Edwards at fullback, Donnelly, Morvin Edwards used to play here at Leeds in 3, Rapati, Hoppy, Whittaker and Freeman the captain. And up front, Jason Lowry, Dwayne Mann, formerly with Warrington, Brent Stewart, formerly with Halifax, Peaver, David Lomax and Jason Mackey. And the substitutes, Mark Nixon, who scored at St Helens midweek, Logan Edwards, Blair Harding and Simon Angel. Kevin Iro was playing in the black and white of New Zealand at Wembley last Saturday. Disappointing match he had there. The 1987 Junior Kiwi made the 1989 full tour, formerly with Wigan and Manly, of course, in Australia. And quite a match for Jason Mackey. Man of the match in the opening tour game against Wales. He scored a try then, the first of the tour, and he scored tries significantly perhaps in the wins at Wigan and St Helens. Mackey obviously is a man with both eyes firmly on a test spot at Wigan next Saturday. Not a huge crowd has turned out to Headingley to watch this one, but remember, it's all pay. The season ticket holders must come in and pay their money, and they'll be watching Gary Mercer, who is another New Zealander in the Leeds lineup who must surely have designs on a place in the test match. And quite a return for Morvin Edwards, full-back against Great Britain at Wembley and here at Leeds for 37 matches, 7 tries those 37 appearances yielded. Well, no haka today from the New Zealanders. They're currently breaking with tradition. Apparently they didn't do it at St Helens in midweek either, but we have this game in progress now as Schofield kicks off here at Headingley. An important match for the New Zealanders. They've got to get themselves on track for that test match.
That was pretty high, straight in, no doubt about it. Swinging arm. Well, they mean business, don't they? Prop forward, Gary Rose, swinging right arm. Welcome to Headingley for the Kiwis. Big game for both coaches, Eddie. New Zealand coach Howie Tamati wanting to get things right, of course, for the second test. But a lot of pressure also on Doug Lawton of Leeds.
Dwayne Mann is the Kiwis' dummy half, and he finds Brent Stewart, who is grounded on the halfway line. Mann again finds Freeman. And New Zealand obviously looking to work things up the other end of the field. The referee, John Holdsworth from Kippax, he's had to make an early decision here on that high tackle by Gary Rose, and has awarded New Zealand the penalty, which is why they're so deep in Leeds territory at this moment with Jason Lowry. Mann again to Freeman, who will hoist a kick downfield. A little tester for Alan Tate. Tate watched it perfectly, took it cleanly, stepped away from 2 challenges, but couldn't get away from Eva Rapati.
Super take there by Alan Tate. The crowd screaming for a penalty there. Look at this, eyes on the ball at all time. He was put under a lot of pressure by Aaron Whittaker.
Gary Mercer in the loose forward role finds Gareth Stevens. He helps it on to Schofield. Here's Iro. Great favourite here at Headingley. Kevin Iro didn't really show in that test match at Wembley when he played in the New Zealand side that was beaten 17-0 by Great Britain, of course. Harman, who has made an impressive start to his Leeds career.
Got it. Swinging arm there from Brent Stewart. Harman, a good busting run.
Tate with the kick downfield. And this is Peter Edwards underneath it. Freeman at dummy half this time. And that's Jason Donnelly, the winger. This is only his 5th appearance of this tour. Now Jason Mackey. Oh, that's a crunching tackle. Oh, on him from Ian Scott.
What a cruncher. Oh, they really mean business. Let's get into it early, they say.
Stewart was the runner for the New Zealanders. Now it's with Freeman. Freeman thinking about a chip. Scott, though, wrapped him all up. It was on the last tackle. It's the turnover. That was good defence from Leeds, really was.
Well, you could see Freeman there turn around to his players and say, come on, I need support. They didn't elect to take the kick. He wanted to bring the ball back inside and there was no one there.
This is Neil Harman. The Kiwis, by the way, will announce their test side tomorrow, according to Howie Tamati, when I spoke to him yesterday. Decision day for a lot of these players on show here today, not only in the black and white, but also, obviously, for Mercer and Kevin Iro. Richie Ayres, that's our first glimpse of him on one of Sky's big league programmes in the Leeds jersey.
Had a little bit of a skirmish there with Gary Freeman.
Schofield hoists the bomb, and that got snow on it, but that's a good take by fullback Peter Edwards.
He had to reach for that. Had a lot of people coming at him. But the tackling from Leeds is very good indeed. They're moving up quickly. Obviously, they picked it out, as England did, Great Britain did at Wembley. Move up quickly and try to shut the New Zealanders down. And up to now, they're doing it very well.
It was Morven Edwards' run. That was Jason Donnelly. And that's the second rower, Lomax. He gets it away to Mann, to Freeman, and then on to Peaver. Good tackling again. It was James Lowes and Gary Mercer going for a piggyback ride. The referee says it's the last tackle. The kick comes in from Freeman into no man's land, and it will run dead.
A little bit too strong there from Freeman, but he did take the right option, pushing the ball, splitting the defence, making sure that Tate can't take it on the full. He's such a devastating full-back if you allow Alan Tate to take the ball whilst he's running.
5 minutes of this first half gone. Simon Irving in possession for the Leeds team, a Leeds team that were beaten at Featherstone in midweek and who are really desperate to get their season back on course with a victory here. It would be an historic win too. They've never beaten the Kiwi tourists. Is this their day? Fallon with the run. Second rower was Lomax. Coming in over the top was Mackey. Schofield with the long pass looking for Irving. They've got a bit of space out wide there now. Scales, it was over his shoulder. Not the best pass in the world, and here goes Hoppy. I don't think they're going to catch Hoppy. It's a test of Scales' pace. He's got him. Oh, that's great stuff from Jonathan Scales. But mistakes then on both sides. Hoppy dropped it, and so too did Gary Rose.
Well, Hoppy, they think he's fast, but Jonathan Scales really drags him in. He tried to fend him away. The impact there comes out. They really should have taken possession there, and that is a simple knock-on. Well, all that good work undone by just a simple mistake. But what a lot of speed he showed there.
Yes, Hoppy, the man who scored the interception try against Wigan that turned the game the Kiwis' way when they were last on Sky just the week before Wembley, and he left the Wigan defence for dead that day. He couldn't get away from Jonathan Scales, though. That was a great run back by the winger. Now Schofield, Irving and Iro. and he finds Fallon. Fallon's got some pace. Ball's turned back inside. That's good play from the Leeds winger. Iro has some strength, but Dwayne Mann and Mackie know all about him.
He did well there, did Fallon, but it's interesting to note that Leeds are out in throwing the ball and missing men out. They're trying to get the ball out wide, and it really is working. They're stretching this New Zealand defence.
Well, I was talking to Dougie Lawton yesterday, Steve-O, and he's not very impressed the way the game is going at the moment. He wants to try and inject some football skills into the British game, and certainly the amount of air that his team are giving this football here today, but it looks like his words are paying off.
Words of wisdom indeed, but it's when you've got men like Gary Schofield that can throw the long ball out wide, it can be effective.
Freeman's pass is collected by Edwards, and he sets the prop forward Lowry away. Takes something to bring him down. Scott and Mercer. Dwayne Mann appealing to John Holdsworth to let the Kiwis get on with it.
There's a lot of ill feeling in this game.
Mann to Freeman. Freeman to Mackie. A good run from Mackie. Good tackling too from Leeds. It's the last tackle. They're so close, the Kiwis. Freeman. Now the prop forward Lowry. Freeman taking over again. Long pass wide. Second row is Lomax. Freeman again. He's handled and missed move 3 times. His kick forward goes out on the full. And I think Freeman appealing to the referee that he was impeded.
Well, I don't know what he's given the hand over there. It was on the last tackle, but rightly so. The referee, John Holdsworth, just having a few words with the players, the 2 skippers. Calm it down a little bit. There's a lot of off-the-ball incidents. Elbows, punches being thrown in the back play.
So Leeds in possession, still 0-0. And this is Harman. Good driving run, but you can see the forward battle that's being waged. That tackle by Mackie, finished off by Stewart. Harman certainly felt that. Now here's the youngster, Stevens. And another illegal challenge, was it? No, the referee says play on. Schofield gets the ball away. It's now with Tate.
Well, Mackie just pushed Gareth Stevens to the ground while he was playing the ball. John Holdsworth was looking to see that New Zealand were back to 10. He didn't see it, but look at this. As he pushes him away, no chance of playing that correctly. Got away with it, though. That should have been a penalty to Leeds without any doubt.
As it is, the New Zealanders in possession with Peter Edwards. Mackie, the man who pushed little Gareth Stevens. Coming up to 10 minutes gone, 0-0. Nothing at all to choose between these 2 sides. The runner was Hoppy. Man to Freeman. Spreads it wide to Morven Edwards. Good tackling by Iro. Dwayne Mann carries it on. Here's Brent Stewart. Fallon with the tackle. It's 5 tackles gone for the Kiwis. Mann will simply, with the left foot, just dab the ball into touch.
Bit of common sense there, the experience of the hooker, taking it on the blind side. Let's just punch it down into touch, calm things down a little bit. It's getting quite hectic.
Let me just give you a little history lesson here. The first ever test match in Great Britain between the 2 nations of Great Britain and New Zealand was played right here at Headingley. Oh, that was a high tackle, surely by Morven Edwards on Jim Fallon. The referee says play on.
Well, did he hit the shoulder? It was a belter. Here he comes. Oh, that was right over the top. Edwards didn't miss him.
And there's another one. And that was Edwards again, who went high on Gary Mercer this time.
Well, he was lucky to get away with the first one. And he goes for the second helping. Deary me. We love you Kiwis. Not in this game, it seems.
Full back against Wales and also at Wembley. Now in the centre, Morven Edwards. Well, Gary Mercer, I don't think, was here when Morven Edwards was a player. Perhaps towards the back end of his Headingley career. But they certainly won't be good mates after that.
Well, that's 2 on the trot. Let's hope he doesn't go for the trifecta.
Tate releases the ball and he went for the trifecta. That was a high tackle by Edwards again on tape. This is now Fallon.
Well, that's just ridiculous. That's 3 on the trot. He must want an early shower.
Well, only one of them been penalised by the referee. This is Gareth Stevens. Little dummy from Stevens, thought better of releasing the ball because it was Dwayne Mann who was lurking behind the play. Now Schofield and the runner, the second rower, Richie Ayres. Witness, by the way, still smarting over that fee that Leeds had to pay for Richie Ayres. And Schofield, I think, has indicated that he's going to hoist the bomb here. Well, it's not a bomb, it's a little chip ahead, and it almost came off for him, but well read by Peter Edwards, who's off on a run and brought down by Irving.
It had to be as well. Tate was the man that would run through for that move. Therefore, there was no full back. It was a nice little chip over from Schofield, but that left them wide open, and it was a good tackle by Simon Irving.
Stewart not able to make any progress. Mackey gets the ball away to Freeman. He spreads the play out wide. That was Whittaker, and he brings Rapati into it. That's the second rower, Lomax. Freeman again. He's such a busy character, Gary Freeman. Finds Peter Edwards. That's a lovely ball to Hoppy. Tried to get the ball away, but Jonathan Scales has played him very well so far. And that was another good tackle from Scales on Freeman this time. Whittaker dabs the ball forward. And they've given the ball back. Hoppy will drop on it. It's 6 more to go. 6 more tackles for the Kiwis here. And this is danger for Leeds. Lowry's the prop forward. He's getting so close. Tackle standing up. Dwayne Mann will spread this one wide. Freeman helps it wider still. Mackey. Good tackling though. But it's picked up again by Peter Edwards, who sees a little gap ahead. Went for the penalty. Claims he was taken out. Play on, says referee Holdsworth.
Well, a bright opening by the Kiwi fullback, Peter Edwards. Certainly showing a lot of speed. Don't know whether it was the right option so early in the tackle. This is only after the second tackle. He was taken out, but obviously the referee said that Mercer had already committed himself to the tackle.
So still 0-0 here at Headingley. New Zealand tuning up for Wigan and the second test, and Richie Ayres holding on to the football for Leeds. James Lowes with the headgear at dummy half to Stevens, and he says to the prop forward Gary Rose, you have a run, who in turn offers the same opportunity to Alan Tate. Lowes to Schofield. Schofield looked up, saw a big gap behind Peter Edwards, dropped the ball into the corner. Schofield leading the charge of Leeds players to close him down.
Beautiful kick and chase there, right into the gap. Well, it's amazing, Eddie, that we've seen Leeds, they've capitulated on so many occasions this season, but yet today their defence is superb.
Dwayne Mann at dummy half to Freeman. The runner was Lomax. Leeds watched him perfectly. That defence stands firm. Lomax never played that ball. Dwayne Mann with the kick for the corner. And it gets a good bounce for the Kiwis and finds touch.
Well, that's the second occasion that the big hooker taking the option for the long kick. You could see there was no one at home. It's a nice bounce. Once again, Leeds under pressure.
Well, 0-0 here, 16 minutes gone at Headingley. Jonathan Scales was the man who received the ball from that scrum base. This is Gary Mercer. Lowe's in at dummy half again. Stevens, oh, that looked a forward pass, and it doesn't matter anyway. The ball's dropped, and Rapati has it, and he's through the tackle, and he's through another tackle, and that's a great try. It was poor tackling by Leeds that cost them in the end. The first tackle from Fallon and the second from James Lowes, and Eva Rapati had all the strength in the world to go over for the try. And you can hear the silence. It's deafening at Headingley.
Super play by, but there's a bad mistake at first. Goes through the Fallon tackle, attempted. Stevens is not there. Lowes comes through him. He went far too high. He should have gone for the legs. He suffered the consequences, but good running there by the centre. Eva Rapati, he's impressed me on this tour. This really is a bad mistake. Look how the ball is dropped by Scott. Picked up by Rapati. Now he's trying to go high, Fallon, but this is the big mistake. Look at the hooker Lowes trying to go over the top. He should have gone for the legs early, and they've paid a very high price indeed.
Tia Rapati's brother Eva, he scores in the win at Wales as well. He does look like his brother too, doesn't he? They're obviously all from the same clan, there's no doubt about that. Eva Rapati, 4 points for him, 4 points for New Zealand. And Peter Edwards, with the usual goal kicker Darryl Halligan out injured, taking over the responsibilities here. Crowd doing its best to put him off, but he has the direction, he has the height, and he has the 2 points. Leeds 0, New Zealand 6.
You see quite clearly how a mistake can put you under so much pressure. Rapati picks it up, but look at the two men going too high. You have to tackle the legs. Look at Lowes there, but give credit to Rapati, upper body strength to push him away. They can't run without their legs.
So good start then for the New Zealanders, 6-0 here at Headingley, and in the way of these matches in the past, this one is going again to script exactly. Leeds have never beaten the New Zealand tourists here. Sean Hoppy is the dummy half, and the New Zealanders in possession, and we can hear from one of the stars of this tour, Steve Kearney, who is talking on pitch side to Mark Wallace.
Steve, that's a great start for the Kiwis.
There's no doubt about that. Well, earlier on, Sean Hoppy had a great opportunity to score, but it's just a little drop ball at the end. But no, it's a great start, and we're looking quite strong. I think we're playing out our 6-6, and we're getting to our kick on the last tackle, so it's looking really good for the side at the moment.
They're looking very strong indeed, and they're in for another 4 points here. They're celebrating, I think it's Dwayne Mann who's plunged over from dummy half, and it is. The run, first of all, led to it. Leeds thought they had stopped the danger, but Dwayne Mann, as he did so often for Warrington last season, was alert to the opportunity and simply dived over for another 4 points. 2 in 2 minutes.
Well, he started the move, didn't he? The big second row of Piva pushing them through. We've just been praising the wonderful tackle and defence from Leeds, and then all of a sudden the wheels have well and truly dropped off. Great run from Whittaker, bobbing and weaving out to the wingman there. Donnelly goes through. Now look how the quick play of the ball. The Leeds players are still coming back. In he goes, throws the dummy. Mr. Fallon takes it. So simple. Nice run by the second row of Piva. They get caught again by trying to go high. Now look at the jinking run from Whittaker. He goes back inside. Out to Donnelly. Now this is where the crucial part is. There are 3 players come into it. You can see that the players are still jogging back. Little dummy, see you later, Jim. I'll take 4.
Dwayne Mann, his first try of this tour. He has 4, New Zealand have 10, and if Peter Edwards lands this difficult conversion, the Kiwis will have 1 dozen. Not this time. Just didn't have the length or the direction on the kick, so it's 10-0.
Look how the man draws the man in through there, and that leaves that gap. And really, Leeds' defence have gone. He's a big, strong man. You cannot go high on big fellas like that. And then they try to go high on the small fella. Look how the defence is just rocked inside, outside, Whittaker just turning them inside out. We gave them praise for the first 15 minutes, and now they've just gone back.
So the New Zealanders have an important 10-point advantage in this John Smith's tour match here at Headingley. 10-0 they lead, warming up for the test match at Wigan next week. And let's hear again now from Steve Kearney, who will no doubt be even more delighted than he was a few moments ago.
Steve, it looks like there's a lot of players out there on both sides with a point to prove.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. The Leeds side hold a couple of Kiwis that, especially after the first test disappointment, that are playing really for maybe a position in the side. So it's going to be pretty hard for both sides there. There's a couple of positions up for grabs. So, and I'm sure that the New Zealand players in the Leeds side will be trying their utmost to try and secure one of them. But in the same respect, the players in the New Zealand side will be doing exactly the same.
So 22.5 minutes gone. The New Zealanders ahead by 10 points to 0 in possession with Mackie. He gives it to Freeman, but the ball went over the shoulder of Freeman. Play on, says the referee. David Lomax continues it on.
Leeds were really caught out wide then. Lomax could have got that long ball out wide. There was only one player there.
Dwayne Mann at dummy half. This now is Jason Lowry. Lowry gets the ball away to Mann, but it was a forward pass, says referee John Holdsworth. He dropped it anyway.
Nice play by the prop forward. Just couldn't hold on to it, couldn't Dwayne Mann. But the big thing about this Leeds defence now, before they were moving up in one line, now they're going in drips and drabs. They're coming out of that line, and that's where the gap, that's when it starts to open.
There's John Scales for Leeds. And the Leeds public, who have turned out here to Headingley to watch this, are watching quite silently just at the moment. They cannot believe what they have seen in the past 5 minutes or so as New Zealand have taken a stranglehold on this game. Here's Gary Rose. Stevens to Harmon. Must say the New Zealand forwards are meeting Harmon and Rose and Scott and Ayres head to head, although they were then interfering with the leg of Harmon as he tried to get to his feet.
Well, it was a great tackle, but Lowry, you'll see, and Pivot not allowing him to play the ball. Silly penalty to give away. Interesting, though, to see that the youngster, Aaron Whittaker, he's doing a very fine job on keeping Gary Schofield quiet.
Well, now for the first time for a while, we hear the Yorkshire voices as Fallon has a run. But it's uncompromising defence from New Zealand. And that's another mistake, and so early in the tackle count. Leeds at the moment, Steve, are going through the horrors.
You can say that again, and you could see that Neil Harmon, he was more intent of Peaver coming towards him in the tackle rather than taking possession. You can't do that. You've got to make sure you keep hold of the ball. Just watch this. You can see Peever's coming at him. He was trying to turn before he had possession of it.
Morgan Edwards is grounded by Jim Fallon. Leeds have played 8 games so far this season in the big league. They've won only 3, drawn 1 and lost 4, and beaten by 2 points, 22-20 by Featherstone on Tuesday night. And they're having it all on here to stop the Kiwis running away with this match. Iro is all over the back of Dwayne Mann. It's the last tackle. Whittaker at dummy half to Freeman. He spins it wide to Rapati. He helps it wider still. The ball from Lowry wasn't a good one, but Rapati's able to pick up the pieces. Leeds are standing still. Brent Stewart, remember, this is the 5th tackle. Mackie has got 4 in support with it, and Leeds just wouldn't come and tackle him. But they've got the ball back now because the referee says that's the last tackle. It's done and dusted.
Well, the loose forward, Mackie just had them mesmerised there. Super play by the Kiwis. They're keeping it alive. They realised after that first 15-minute stanza that they've got to get the ball out wide. Forget about taking them on in the forwards.
James Lowe's from dummy half, but the passes are not the best, and Tate got a little fingertip touch to that, and the referee spotted it.
Well, I don't know what the crowd are complaining about. The fingertip is quite clearly shown there. No good shaking the head. They really are going through 10 minutes of horror, the Leeds side.
Steve, well, we've not seen Leeds for a while on Sky Sports, although there is now one player, Morven Edwards, taking a stint in the blood bin, because he obviously has some blood on his face. But we haven't seen the Leeds team for a wee while, and I must say that after their bright start to the season, they have appeared to gone backwards.
Well, they started bright today, didn't they? The first 15 minutes, their defence was good. They were trying to get it all together, and all of a sudden the wheels have fallen off. But their biggest problem is the fact that they're not playing out the full six. They've made 3 mistakes and lost it in the first and second tackle. Blair Harding has come on, by the way, for Morven Edwards. Morven Edwards has 15 minutes to get the blood flow stemmed, and then it will not count as a full substitution. He will be allowed to return. Had a very bad nosebleed, I believe. Coming up to 28 minutes on the watch, and New Zealand ahead 10-0 and in possession with Freeman, who finds Harding, and he gets a dose of the dropsies. And Leeds will say, thank goodness for that. There's a strong tackle there by Mercer that dragged that ball out from the substitute Harding. But it's beautiful play by the Kiwis. They're running the angles with the forwards, and there's support back on the inside. That's something that they've had to work on this tour. It's been lacking, that support play. That's a great run, though, from Gary Mercer. Mercer taking the play up to halfway. Mercer, obviously, with an eye on that test jersey next week at Wigan. He played in the series against Australia in the summer. Many people think Howie Tamati should use some of the British-based Kiwis for the remainder of the series. Schofield will likely captain Great Britain next week. And Schofield, of dummy half, captain of Leeds today, will hoist the midfield bomb. There's nobody putting the fullback under any pressure at all, and Peter Edwards had that all to himself. Well, he could have cooked an omelette, couldn't he, really? You've got to put a man under pressure when that situation. All the time in the world. They've just lost their way a little bit of Leeds now. I say the Leeds public watching very quietly, watching almost in disbelief. Man the dummy half. The prop forward is Lowry. Well, with 10 minutes to go before the half-time break, I'm sure that Doug Lawton must be looking at the fact to bring on Andy Gregory, because they need some spark out there. Fallon collects that punt downfield, gets away from Donnelly. Good run this from Fallon, and he's found Tate, who picks up pace. Tate escapes the clutches of Rapati, gets the ball back inside to Scales. Was that high? Referee says yes, it was. It took him a while to make the decision. I don't think he's given it for the high tackle, he's given it for holding down in the tackle, Steve-O. Well, it was certainly a swinging arm by Peter Edwards. He's had a fine game so far, he can do without that. That's certainly something in his repertoire he should forget. Andy Gregory is introduced, as Steve-O says, and Gareth Stevens, the man who goes off. So, Andy Gregory, 26 caps for Great Britain, but only 4 against the New Zealanders. He's missed the last 6 injured. And he's back to try and rescue this match for Leeds, which at the moment is in danger of slipping away from them. And here he is, first touch. You just watch the sparks fly now. This man won't let it stand. He'll give it everything he's got now, will Andy Gregory. It's now Gregory, here he is. Jinking little run, met head-on by the fullback Edwards. Yes, it'll be a battle royal between Gregory and Freeman. This is Richie Ayres. Ayres sees a gap, goes for the line, just held back again by Edwards. Leeds so close. A try now would be priceless. Gregory with a long ball out wide, and it's swallowed up gratefully by Jason Donnelly. Well, that was a shame, really. It was a long ball, but at least the man is trying. Lowe's the diving pass. The long ball out wide there. He took the gamble, did Donnelly. If he'd have missed that, it was try time. But suddenly the tempo has increased because the little fella's on. Still a great competitor, despite the fact that he's 32 years young. he'll have plenty to say, and not just to the Kiwis either. He'll be geeing up his team, saying, come on, we can get back into this game.
David Lomax, meanwhile, with a bad mistake at the play of the ball, just took his eye off the ball there.
Well, he's looking at the defender coming towards him, isn't he? It's pretty tough out there.
Gregory feeds the scrum, gets possession and finds Irving. Irving on a diagonal run, he pulls Iro in. Iro through Edwards. That's the strength that Leeds wanted. That's the strength the Kiwis wanted at Wembley last week, and Iro has now produced it.
Well, I say one man can't lift a team, but isn't this a different attitude? Simon Irving running the angles. There's no chance for the big man. The beast is there, Kevin Iro. They will enjoy that, as does the Leeds crowd. But it's this pass, running at the angle. Irving coming at the angle. He pulls the defence across. Once it comes with him, the inside pass is on. It was timed to perfection. The step off the right foot. No chance for the Kiwis to stop him. Celebration time, and rightly so. That was a well-worked try. Super stuff.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Leeds have certainly stepped the pace up since Gregory has come on. They've got the reward, and Simon Irving now from bang in front pulls Leeds back to within 4 points. A match that looked like slipping away from them is now back within their grasp, courtesy of Gregory's inclusion.
Set move, you can see him running at the angle. That's how he pulls the defence across. Here he goes. Super stuff. They run the dummy on the blind side. Watch how the defence is pulled across there. Look at the gap there. 3 double-decker buses could have gone through there. He's not quite that big, but I bet he's as strong.
So Leeds 6, New Zealand 10, and despite the fact that Leeds have had their problems today and are without doubt having their problems in this match, it should be pointed out that Leeds are defending a proud unbeaten home record here at Headingley today. Harmon on the charge for Leeds.
Just amazing little character, isn't he? Andy Gregory. When he came on, there was a buzz, went right around the ground, and rightly so. He's just taken them up into another gear, hasn't he?
And he's strutting round there now, I tell you. And he's in possession, and he saw the little gap, and it was closed down by David Lomax. And there's the scrap that will develop between Freeman and Gregory. There's no love lost there. Schofield with the chip ahead. Well watched though by Edwards, and he dropped the ball under pressure from Schofield. Leeds get it back with Iro. Iro out to Fallon. Fallon has the strength to go for the corner, loses his footing, gives it to Kevin Iro. And now it's Lowe's, and Leeds are suddenly swarming forward with confidence. That was a long pass, that was risky, and Sean Hoppy nearly got to it. In fact, he did get a fingertip to it. It's a knock-on against him.
Oh, he reads it so well, doesn't he, Sean Hoppy? Couldn't get to it this time. Just a bad bounce there for the loose forward, Gary Mercer. Bit of claret coming out from Sean Hoppy, the big winger.
So Leeds suddenly are exerting a bit of pressure on the New Zealanders, and we have less than 5 minutes to go in this first half now. Leeds 6, New Zealand 10. And Gregory finds Schofield, who in turn finds Irving, gives it back to Schofield. He asks Tate to come on a run. Tate goes on a run, and again, just the inch or two that is so important. The ball just spilled by Jim Fallon again under pressure.
Super play from Leeds. Tate coming in on the angle. Couldn't get there. Jason Donnelly just got in between. But it was a good tackle by Fallon to push the ball away.
And suddenly Leeds are piling in for the tackling. And the Kiwis are not too impressed. They're trapped on their own line. Freeman can't get away from Mercer. It's the last tackle. They're going to have to kick to get out of trouble. And Alan Tate will collect 10 metres inside his own half and race it back. Oh, and Marvin Edwards, he really is getting stuck in. He has done all the way through this match. He's probably got a big point to prove that he should never have been allowed to leave Headingley. But you can see that Edwards...
Oh, he's gone mad! He's gone berserk!
Well, it was Fallon who threw the first punch, but Marvin Edwards has been running hot ever since this game got going. You can see it in the eyes. He's gone.
The marbles are still spinning. This is going to take a long time for them to settle down as well. As you mentioned, he was swinging arms and elbows and everything, looking to get away with it. Only gave one penalty. Calm things down now, Mr. Holdsworth, please. Let's see football.
And the referee has told the two captains, Freeman and Schofield, to get the two sides away from each other. But here it is again. Well, Marvin Edwards has been going a bit potty all the way through this match, and Jim Fallon didn't like that, did he?
And rightly so. You don't like someone just taking a pot shot at your head. It's like being at the fairground. How many coconuts does he want to knock off? It really was building up to it. Fallon did throw first, that there's no doubt. But look at it go into it. Swinging arms. In fact, I think Marvin Edwards had a go at the referee there.
Well, he's been called over, and he's claiming now that an elbow was used on him. The referee, John Holdsworth, wanted Marvin Edwards, and he told Gary Freeman, his captain, to leave the scene. It's a penalty to Leeds, and now Mr. Holdsworth takes the heat out of the situation completely by having a word with Fallon. Time is back on. Leeds have the penalty. Hold on to your hats. Stand by for fireworks. Rose with the run. Edwards again was high.
It's no good giving him a pat on the backside.
Leeds will try and work the ball out wide now. Tate to Irving, to Scales. It's the last minute of normal time, but there will be quite a bit to add on for that stoppage as Gregory takes control and gives it to Schofield. Schofield with the dummy. Oh, and so close for Schofield. It was Edwards who was the challenger again this time, but quite legally.
He couldn't believe it, couldn't Schofield. Lovely inside switch there with Gregory. Throws the dummy, and I think Edwards just gets his hands to it. No, it wasn't Edwards, it was the winger Donnelly. Schofield couldn't believe it. Maybe not the quickest run of these days, but he would have made that to the line, that is for sure.
Donnelly again with Schofield, finished off by Lowe's. Dwayne Mann. It's amazing though, Steve-O, the way this match, the impetus of it has increased because of the appearance of one A. Gregory.
There was never any doubt in it. That's why I made that suggestion. They were really losing their way. Bring on the spark, and hasn't it ignited?
Freeman gets the ball away to Robert Peaver. He goes through Schofield. He won't get away from Mercer, though. Lucky that Whittaker is there. Whittaker dancing and jinking. Oh, so close. And Rapati, if that had stuck, he could have been in for another.
Oh, I've been very impressed with this number 6, Aaron Whittaker. Nice step round the man. One feature of this game so far is the way that the New Zealanders have kept this ball alive, going halfway into the tackle and then turning and trying to get the ball back inside. And there's been support.
Here's Tate now for Leeds. Now Fallon. Tackled by Stewart and David Lomax. Gregory again. That's a great ball to Ayres. Ayres drops it though, and here comes Peter Edwards. And there is the half-time siren as you watch as Richie Ayres drops that ball. It's 10-6 to the New Zealanders. The match though has really turned on the introduction of Andy Gregory, and Marvin Edwards and Jim Fallon shake hands and exchange a glance or two and a wry smile. But the New Zealanders ahead by 10 points to 6 at the break. Welcome back to Headingley. The half-time score, Leeds 6, New Zealand 10. The tries from Rapati and Mann, and the try for Leeds from Kevin Iro, goal by Simon Irving. And in the first half, we had 10 scrums, 7 of them went to Leeds. We had 5 penalties, Leeds received 4, and we had 17 handling errors, and Leeds were ahead on that chart as well. An important 40 minutes for the Kiwis. The second test at Wigan, now just 6 days away. They have a midweek fixture, also this week against the under-21s at Workington. But the basis of their test squad is on duty here at Headingley, I fancy. Although when I asked Howie Tamati about that yesterday, he would give nothing away. Leeds, incidentally, have made a change at half-time. Graham Holroyd has come on, this outstanding youngster, 18 years old. It's his birthday tomorrow, and Holroyd has come into the side at half-time and has replaced Simon Irving. So it'll be very interesting now to see who will kick the goals for Leeds if they get any opportunity. This is Holroyd, left-footed down the field, and it will probably be Holroyd who will kick the goals. Donnelly in possession for New Zealand, trying to build on that 10-6 scoreline. Certainly had their match apparently in their pockets at 10-0, Steve-O. Then the introduction of Gregory, and suddenly the script was torn up and they started again.
Yes, it's going to be a real test of character for the Kiwis now. They've got to really start building because they can't go away from this game with a loss.
Gary Freeman knows that better than anybody. His kick downfield was watched all the way by Tate. It deceived him slightly. Kevin Iro, he had a big first half, didn't he? No doubt has caught the eye of Howie Tamati, and could well be securing himself a place in the second test team next week. This is Jonathan Scales. Good run, showing plenty of strength, the 19-year-old that Doug Lawton brought from Gosforth to Headingley. This is Gary Mercer, another man with an eye on a New Zealand test jersey. James Lowes gives the ball to Gregory. Gregory, short pass to Ayres. Ayres stopped dead in his tracks. Lowes again. Gregory wants to be at the heart of everything for Leeds now. Finds Schofield. Jinks inside Whittaker. Schofield clips one over the top. Bounces kindly for Peter Edwards. And Schofield following up with a little bit of help from Fallon brings him down.
Oh, super play there by the Leeds skipper. Lead by example. That's what it's all about.
Knock on, spotted by the referee.
Well, that's what you look for when you just dink a little kick over the top. Hope that within their own quarter the mistake will come. Only a little one, but it was enough. Interested to see that the way Leeds have started this second half with the forwards, instead of just running straight at the defence, they're running at the angles.
Here's Holroyd. Schofield gets away from Edwards. Finds Mercer. Mercer keeps the ball alive to Tate. Tate gets away from Rapati. Can he get away from Whittaker? No, that's good chasing by the standoff. Lowes on his own from dummy half. Brought down by Lowry, the prop forward. Here's Neil Harmon. Good defence, New Zealand again. Standing firm. Gregory. Holroyd. Gregory again. Freeman right behind him, did just enough to make that pass. Not the best.
Not much chance there for the youngster Jonathan Scales. Wasn't the best of passes from the substitute Andy Gregory. Kevin Iro had no chance to fill in for that. That's who he was looking for. Just saying a few words to move up a little bit quicker, perhaps.
Incidentally, just watching the Leeds lineup at this scrum, Gary Schofield has moved into the centre to accommodate the youngster Graham Holroyd, who is now at standoff. And the Kiwis are making a substitution. Mark Wallace has the details.
Yes, number 17, Simon Angel, who's signed by the Auckland Warriors in 1995. He's coming on. And Robert Peaver, who was the Kiwis' man of the match against Bradford, is coming off.
So 23-year-old forward, Simon Angel, uncapped. Try against Bradford. He's introduced. Mackie has the ball, though, for the Kiwis. Wayne Mann's in at dummy half. There is the substitute, Angel.
It's obvious that the Kiwi coach, Howie Tamiti, wants more running.
Stewart now over the halfway line.
Got quite a bit of speed as this substitute, Simon Angel. You'll be seeing him running out wide.
Whittaker's kicked downfield straight into the arms of Scales, who couldn't get round Hoppy. And Rapati from behind hauled him to the ground. Holroyd to Gregory to Mercer. Now to Harmon. Harmon grounded by Simon Angel. Tough in the tackling too is Angel. Junior Kiwi and Kiwi Colt. Mistake though. New Zealanders have it back. Mackie from dummy half. This is Freeman.
It's important now that Kerry Freeman just slows things down for the Kiwis. He realises that they have that 4-point lead. Not to do anything panicking. They lost their way a little bit just before the half-time break, when Leeds really weren't on the boil. His professionalism will come through now. He'll try to calm it down.
Whittaker to Edwards, to Rapati. Rapati gets the ball away to Peter Edwards. He goes inside Tate. Oh, that wasn't a good attempt by Tate. He was wrong-footed. And Edwards, Peter Edwards, a try at St Helens on Wednesday, and he's come up with 4 points again here today.
Super play by the Kiwis, and two men that really have impressed me today. The full-back Peter Edwards and the centre Ivor Rapati. He throws the dummy. The big fella Kevin Iro took it, but the step inside by the full-back was far too good for his opposite number, Alan Tate. That really is a well-worked move, but good play by Ivor Rapati. See the finish of it there, just a step inside. Tate had no chance. That really was a well-worked move there by the centre. He'll certainly be pushing for a test spot, I'm sure. He's had a good game.
Yes, Peter Edwards. Full-back was a problem for them at Wembley. He's been safe under the bomb, and he scored a fine try there, chiming into the line. It's right under the posts, and so Aaron Whittaker, from bang in front, easily slides the ball over the crossbar. 16-6, the gap again goes to 10 points.
Super stuff. This is a man going round the man there, and the pass through the gap. The step goes back inside, but it's a neat little pass there. See how it sucked in Kevin Iro? Two men going for one. The gap appears. Beautiful positioning by Peter Edwards. He knew it was there. I love to see fullbacks chime into the three-quarter line.
So 16-6, New Zealand ahead. We have 7 minutes of this second half gone. And I wonder what was said during the half-time interval by the two coaches, Howie Tamati of New Zealand and Doug Lawton of Leeds. Mark Wallace can tell us.
Well, in the Leeds dressing room, Doug Lawton said to keep it going like they were in the last 10 minutes of the first half, which that isn't actually happening at the moment. And the injury to Simon Irving, by the way, incidentally, why he came off was that he got an injury to his neck in the first half. In the New Zealand dressing room, Howie Tamati said more intensity, if that's possible, not to take chances early in the tackle count, and to keep an eye on the two generals they see as obviously Gary Schofield and Andy Gregory.
Well, at the moment it's going right according to plan for New Zealand, and Hoppy's able to get up off the floor, and I was about to say release a good pass to Jason Mackie, was it, who was up there in support, but the ball instead went to ground, and Leeds have it back.
Well, he lost his way to the winger Hoppy, trying to get the ball away. He would have done better to go onto ground with it. Possession is vital.
Holroyd's pass goes to ground instead of into Mercer's arms, but Kevin Iro picks up the pieces. Leeds struggling to get out of their own quarter at the moment. With Mercer now. Harmon, and feeds Lowe's again, who saw a gap, but it was quickly closed by Lomax and by Morven Edwards.
The kick is on, they haven't got a sweeper.
Gregory's in possession. That's a good ball to Scales. Bit of ground ahead of him. Mackey's after him. That's a good tackle. It was on the last one. Possession automatically turns over. And the Kiwis will get on with it again now with Hoppy.
Well, that's easy yardage there from Hoppy. You could see that Leeds were very slow to get back to that 10. The dummy half runners are making it across that advantage line.
That's lovely play from the second rower, Lomax. Dwayne Mann carrying it on. Gets the ball away to Freeman. The space outside for Donnelly. Donnelly takes the tackle from Iro. Another good attack building up here for the Kiwis. This is Brent Stewart. Head down and running straight. Oh, and the Leeds defender felt that, Neil Harmon.
But you can see that Leeds are taking their time to get back. They're being caught with a quick play of the ball.
Here's Mackey, 10 metres out. That's better defence from Leeds. A knock on. Mackey's lost it.
Big impact tackle there. Crunch time. Ball lost there. Not dragged out. Didn't keep full control of it. Didn't the loose forward, Mackey.
This now is Mercer with the run. And it's been a busy old week for young Graham Holroyd. He played at Wembley on Saturday in the Academy, Featherstone against Leeds on Tuesday, the Academy second test on Thursday, and he's playing half a match at least here today. So he's only 18, or he's 18 tomorrow, and he's been put through the mangle this week. This is Tate. He's looking round for support all the time. He looked round twice then for support, and no one was with him. Gregory to Schofield. Holroyd now. Doesn't look like he's lost any of his appetite for the game, despite that busy schedule, the youngster. Lowe's to Gregory.
Amazing there to see Jason Lowry. He's lost his headgear, but rather than stop to put it on, he's doing the tackling with his hand.
That's a lovely run from John Scales. And it was stopped by last-ditch tackling from Edwards and from Mackey. It was the last tackle. Scales didn't hear the call from the referee. The possession turns over to the Kiwis.
More to the point, Scales didn't hear the call from Gary Schofield, who was on the inside screaming for it.
"12 minutes, second half gone. The New Zealanders certainly in the box seat at the moment, 16-6 up. Need another spark, another injection of something from Andy Gregory, Gary Schofield and company, but Stewart gets the ball away to Morven Edwards, and he's wrapped up by Iro. Dwayne Mann at dummy half. This is the prop forward, Lowry.
Good work by Kevin Iro there, 2 tackles on the trot.
Freeman to Mackey. Mackey, he's a big, powerful lad. Donnelly carries it on. Freeman again, 16-6 up, a diagonal kick, bounces kindly as it turned out for Tate, and he picks up pace to get out of trouble. That's a good run from the Leeds full-back, gives it to Schofield, who will carry this movement on. But again, no one in support.
Oh, a super run there by Alan Tate. His positioning was excellent, took it within his in-goal area, right underneath the post.
Mercer steps out of one challenge, can't get away though from Rapati and Hoppy. But a great run by the Leeds full-back. Now John Scales.
Problem is with Leeds, they're making the half break, but there's not that support there. There's got to be second phase of attack.
Gregory misses Harmon, finds Richie Ayres, and Richie Ayres, the ball was stolen from him, so this will be a penalty to Leeds.
See the substitute pulling the ball out there. Simon Angel, referee right on the spot. Penalty given, and rightly so.
So now, can Leeds build on that penalty? Gary Rose Gets the ball away nicely to James Lowes, who has to leap over the players in front of him. Then he's pulled down by Lowry and by Freeman. Here's Gregory. Harmon's the runner. Gregory slipped though. Fallon's gone into dummy half. Holroyd is there waiting, but Fallon goes on his own down the blind side. Just hauled down, what, 1.5 meters from the line?
This is where they put the crisscross on.
Harmon with a strong run, testing that New Zealand defence. The New Zealand defence stands firm. Gregory is directing operations. He called for the long ball and he's found Holroyd. Holroyd almost through the gap. That's the last tackle for Leeds. Quarter of an hour, second half gone. They need a try. Oh, and Gregory's little dink ball forward went straight into the arms of Dwayne Mann.
Not the best kick there by the little general. Dwayne Mann read it perfectly. You'd be disappointed with that with Andy Gregory. There you can see it. Wanted to be a little bit lower, make the player stoop for it, but straight into the arms.
This is Angel, and he just ducked underneath the arm of Holroyd. Freeman. It's Lomax. And Schofield going for a ride on the back of Lomax. The ball wasn't played, but the referee says carry on. Freeman drops the ball into the Leeds quarter line, and it fools Alan Tate. The bounce just going against the fullback, and he has to let it go into touch.
Experience there, just playing the percentage. They're leading by that 10 points. 16-6. No point in playing in your own half. Get the ball way down into the corner. They just go through the basics now. They won't get rattled, this Kiwi side. Use the forwards, run into the blind, and maybe the link or the kick deep.
Holroyd gets the ball away to Gary Mercer. The Leeds loose forward today. And it's Iro in the dummy half. Leeds Kiwi double act. That's a great run from Iro. He's got Fallon with him, but Iro using all his strength in the world. And Donnelly in the end brought him down with a bit of help from Mackey. Great run from Iro. And a long ball from Schofield finds, from James Lowes finds Gregory. Gregory finds Tate. Tate cuts in field. Great run, but he could only find the centre, Ivor Party, and the chance goes begging.
Well, Tate did the right thing, tried to keep it alive, but it wasn't the best pass. Little bit of panic football there. But that was a shame, really, when Kevin Iro made that big bust down the right-hand side. Jim Fallon showed a little bit of inexperience. He didn't know whether to go inside or outside. Just lost his way a little bit.
Here come the Kiwis again, mounting another attack. Jason Lowry, the prop forward. Freeman, the dummy half. And this is Lomax.
There we see the same move. 2 drives to the blind and then run away to the kick.
Dwayne Mann this time planting the ball 10 metres short of the Leeds try line, getting a pat on the back from his captain too.
Well, it may not look too pretty, but it's effective, and that's what they're looking for. Really will be a big lift for their confidence, a win here at Headingley.
Leeds are making a couple of substitutions, and Mark Wallace can bring us up to date. In fact, it looks like the Kiwis are making a substitution as well.
There's a few substitutions happening now. Number 10, Gary Rose, and number 11, Ian Scott, are coming off for Leeds. And Francis Cummins and Jim Latham come on for Leeds. Jim Latham with his first team debut. For New Zealand, Mark Nixon, the former Rochdale player, goes on, and Morvin Edwards, the former Swinton and Leeds Rugby League player, comes off.
Mark Nixon coming into the fray then, and Leeds making those 2 substitutions. Francis Cummins, by the way, who's got number 16 on his back, is exactly that, 16 years old. Some of these young Leeds players that Doug Lawton is so proud to tell you about. Future of the club. The present players, of course, men like Richie Ayres, but there's the number 16. Cummins. A good tackle too.
Enthusiastic play there by the youngster, but the experienced Richie Ayres should not have got that ball away. There was never any chance of trying to release it.
Whittaker on the run round with Donnelly. And here's Dwayne Mann. Brent Stewart called for it. It's a bruising match just 6 days before Wigan for the New Zealanders in that second test. Little love lost out there. This is the last tackle for the Kiwis. Whittaker's gone into the dummy half spot and he finds Freeman. Freeman sees a little gap, gives it to Mackey, and Mackey could not get the ball down. He slipped under the challenge from Tate, rolled over, thought he'd planted it over the line, but the referee says no.
Beautiful break by Freeman. You can see him slipping there. Perhaps he would have been better trying to just run straight and the momentum take him over. He opted for the step off the right foot and slipped. That's why the try wasn't scored. Oh, and that's nerves, that I can assure you of. Debut boy James Latham. Not bad, is it, to come in against Kiwis for your game. He'll learn from that.
It's put Leeds under a bit of pressure, though. We've got 20 minutes of this match remaining. And the New Zealanders are in possession with Mackey, and they're going over for another try. That is a legal try. Mackey, his fourth of the tour. And the way the loose forward, the big man, has run today, he could well be clinching a place in the test side.
Nice move from the base of the scrum. You could see Freeman peeling away. He took away Gregory and Schofield. They couldn't stop him. He's a big guy, this, and that is a very good try. Short a few inches a couple of seconds ago. This is a super work move. They used the referee well there, but the way that Freeman just peeled away, it dragged away Schofield and Gregory, and that was enough for the big fella to go in. That is a well-worked move, something they've been rehearsing all the tour, and that is a well-deserved try. Super stuff.
Significantly for New Zealand, Jason Mackey has scored in each of the matches that they have won. Wales and Wigan and also St Helens. Now he's scored here at Headingley and he's increased the lead to 14 points. And Aaron Whittaker will try and add the extra 2. And he finds the mark very neatly. So 22 points to 6, the New Zealanders taking a grip on this match.
See how Freeman has pulled away from the pack. There's the two men. And he uses the referee well, doesn't he? Shields it. The tackle, you don't get him first time, step inside. He's a big, strong fellow. They can only grasp at him, reaches out.
22 to the New Zealanders and 6 to Leeds. And it looks like these Kiwis, who, if you look back in the record books all the way down to 1907-08, the very first tour, they have never been beaten by a Leeds side in these shores. Simon Angel is running strongly, and Leeds will have to be a little bit careful now and not let this match completely run away from them, because there's no doubt about it, the Kiwis look the stronger as we are now well into the final quarter of this match. New Zealand, by the way, made a substitution while we were watching the conversion of Jason Mackey's try, and we will see no more of Mackey today. He has been taken off to be replaced by Logan Edwards. Logan Edwards also is a back rower, and there he is.
That may be quite distinctive of the fact that Howie Tamiti has given him a little bit of a rest. Perhaps he has played himself into that test side. Maybe, well, definitely, I would think, into the test squad.
Holroyd with the little dummy. Graham Holroyd, the young player, remember, who made a sensational two-try debut as a substitute on Sky last season. and what Leeds would give for a try or two from him today. Gutierrez takes the tackle from Whittaker.
He really has played well in defence, Whittaker. He's a super tackler, gets right round the ankles at all times. Well, that didn't look a knock-on to me. Bit confused, Jonathan Scales, trying to keep the ball alive. Well, okay. I suppose momentum was going forward, but he appeared to be running backwards. Mr. Holdsworth, he's the man with the whistle. He's the only one that counts.
Handling errors, Leeds have made far too many. 15-11 by New Zealand. Far too many errors from both sides, really, but certainly from Leeds. And this now is Logan Edwards.
Been a good performance this second half by the Kiwis. They really were rattled just before the half-time break. They lost their way a little bit.
Here's Freeman. That's a good ball out to Mark Nixon. And good tackling in the end. Nixon bundled into touch. The Leeds player took a clout then, and he's paid for his pains.
Showed a lot of speed, didn't he, Nixon there? Just dragged in there by Jim Fallon. Right at the death.
So it's a scrum down. Gregory with head and feed once it settles itself down. And Gregory with the possession. Right, well, Craig Innes has missed this match because of injury. He's having to watch from the stands, but I wonder whether he's pleased or not too happy tonight, because he is a Kiwi, of course, and I wonder what he's saying now to Mark Wallace.
Craig, you're a Kiwi. You happy with the way things are going or not?
Well, not really. You know, I want to see Leeds doing well. We've got to get back into winning ways, and it would have been a good day to start today, but we just seem to be kind of lapsing in and out of the game, and we have to get a bit more consistency in there, I think.
That's the way it seems. It seems Leeds can put the pressure on, but they're not turning that pressure into points.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, like I say, we're going in fits and starts. We get down there, but, you know, a drop ball or whatever, you know, we're letting them off the hook. We've just got to keep it going.
And what about yourself? We thought we might see you out here today.
Yeah, it's really disappointing for me. I've been looking forward to this game for a long, long time, and, you know, to be on the sideline watching isn't the place I like to be, but it's going to be another week before we get out there.
That puts a bit of a dampener on your second test chances, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, it's up to us to get back on the field and you know, get back playing for Leeds, but I can't see myself being in consideration for that next one.
No, it doesn't sound like it, does it? And he's another week away from fitness. So perhaps we'll see him in the big league next weekend when St Helens are the visitors here. Big penalty count in Leeds' favour, 6-1. Touring teams never given many favours by the referees, but I think all the penalties that have been awarded today absolutely straight down the middle, Steve-O, no doubt.
No doubt about it, and there's quite a few that they've missed, in my opinion.
Edwards gets the ball away to David Lomax. Lomax in turn gives it to Freeman.
Big problem with this match now at 22-6. Kiwis should really close it down and wrap it well and truly up, is that a little bit of temper may just flare again. Let's hope that they can keep that under control.
Here's Freeman. He finds Rapati. Rapati out the back door, brings Hoppy into it. They're making progress, though, and every tackle are the Kiwis. Wayne Mann to Aaron Whittaker. Last tackle for New Zealand. The bang in front of the posts. They're in possession with Freeman. Gets the ball away to... Well, Mann left it for Whittaker. Whittaker snapped it up, laid it back to Mann. Drop goal attempt. Another point for New Zealand. Dwayne Mann with the one-pointer. 23-6 now.
Good opportunist, 1 point there from the hooker, Dwayne Mann. But the real sad part about all that was the amount of time that the Kiwis had to keep the ball alive. The first tackler was coming through, but they were not being finished off. And they really have just gone backwards in this last 5 or 10 minutes or so.
Well, Blair Harding has come on, and he has replaced David Lomax. The Kiwis just making their last substitution of the afternoon then. 23 points to 6, they lead. We have just over 10 minutes left for play.
That's good support play. That's one thing that their coach, Howie Tamisi, will be quite pleased with. They really have chased the man carrying the football.
Rapati gets the ball away to Nixon. Nixon releases the pass, and a bit high by Andy Gregory. And I think that was on Logan Edwards. It was the substitute.
Well, they had a little one before, and then he came back for the second one. Penalty given there. Dearly me. Come on as a substitute, Logan Edwards. Welcome to the game, as they say. Little nod of approval by Andy Gregory to the referee. Yes, you caught me. That's good enough. And this is where I'm sure that the skipper, Gary Freeman, will calm things down, perhaps go for the goal, and they are doing that. The crowd are booing. They want to see more action. But it's so important for this Kiwi side to make sure they go off today with this win.
Ahead 23-6 at the moment. And in 1989, when they were last here, it was 34 points to 4. So they enjoy playing the club games here at Headingley, but not so the tests. Just to re-emphasise, they've won only 2 of 8 test matches against Great Britain played on this Headingley turf. It's Aaron Whittaker, 2 from 2. Bang in front, but what, 20, 30, 40 metres out. And in no hurry. Deliberate, but successful. 25 points to 6. It's been a good day for the Kiwis. They will take great heart from this into the test match at Wigan.
And rightly so. Aaron Whittaker, he's had a fine game, especially in defence. He really has snuffed out everything that they've thrown at him, especially in the first 15 minutes. He really did keep Gary Schofield quiet.
It'll be a very interesting team sheet that Howie Tamati produces tomorrow for the test match at Wigan. It really will. Will he be tempted again to stick with this tour-based side, or will he introduce the British Kiwis, the likes of Mercer and Iro?
Well, it's been boiling, hasn't it? The 2 hookers, Dwayne Mann, James Lowes, they really have had a great tussle.
Or Stewart with the strength. Gregory got flattened by that one. Oh, that's great support. This is Simon Angel. He has Rapati. Rapati heading to the line. Good tackle by the substitute, Cummins, but they're over anyway with Whittaker, who crowns a fine personal display. It looked as though Cummins had brought the runner down, but Whittaker was there to carry that movement on.
Well, it was something that they were critical about the first part of the tour, but the way that they keep this ball alive, super play. It really has impressed me today that they've kept the ball alive there. Rapati, he's another that's really impressed me. Thought he could make it, but look at the ease that they can turn and still get this ball away. They're queuing up to take that football, and well-deserved try for Aaron Whittaker. Notice the way that they run and step away. Look at the Leeds defence. There's just nobody there. Poor old Alan Tate saying, which can I take? Look at Rapati. I think he's probably done himself no harm to get into the test squad. Nice pass, support play. That's what it's all about.
The Leeds defence looking bemused, 29-6. And this now is the highest score the Kiwis have registered on their tour. 25, remember, against Wigan. Previous best, this now 29. And if Whittaker maintains the way he has kicked the goals, it's going to be 31 in a second or two. .31 it is. Leeds 6, New Zealand 31. famous victory again for the Kiwis.
Support play, the man running that way, the little pass inside, and look at the gap. Away you go, fellas. Super stuff. Defence is totally shot to pieces. One either side. Look at Rapati's legs go. But notice the support. There's 3 Kiwis to choose from.
So we have just over 5 minutes to go, and the New Zealanders well and truly in control of this match. And as we were saying, Steve-O, the team sheet tomorrow will make interesting reading. What would you go for? I think there was a feeling, you know, in this country that perhaps Howie Tamati was, conned is the wrong word, but he was fooled into giving the majority of this touring squad the chance for Wembley, and he maybe should have introduced some British-based experience.
I don't think he was. I think the fact that they just froze at Wembley was as simple as that as far as I'm concerned. Let's not take anything away from the Great Britain tackling. They just did not allow them to do anything. And that's why I think they should bring someone like Dave Watson in, who is a real jinker, a man that can do something from nothing.
And play him at full-back rather than the centre where he played at Wembley.
That's right.
Ball's dabbed forward and runs dead. But Rapati's done himself no damage, as you so rightly said, Steve-O. It's been a good display from him.
I've been impressed with him on that first game when they played against Wales. He made a lot of breaks, and that's something that they're looking for. I think perhaps that Howie Tamati, after today, will stick majority to the touring side. He's just got to start working out a few things to break down the very strong Great Britain defence. I'm sure he's been working hard at that one.
Schofield to Richie Ayres. 2 men, of course, who figured for Great Britain at Wembley and are in the squad for Wigan. Strong tackle by Whittaker on Holroyd, and Whittaker has done himself no harm at all with this display today either.
He's certainly impressed me.
Gregory gets the ball away to Lowe's. Oh, and dear me, the Kiwis, although they're so far ahead, are really pressurising Leeds into these basic mistakes. Gregory to Mercer. Mercer gives it to Iro. Now Iro's got Fallon. He feeds him this time. Fallon tries to fend off the tackle from Peter Edwards. Can't do so. But it's the last tackle for Leeds. They're swarming forward with Schofield. This now is Holroyd. Now Ayres. Ball played to Cummins. Cummins says to Scales, have a go. Whittaker, the man who brought him down. It's the turnover. Good defence from New Zealand, even though they're so far ahead.
Wonderful defence there, and who popped up to do it? Aaron Whittaker. Straight round the ankles. Any youngster watching him tackle, take note. Superb tackler. Also Kevin Iro, Eddie. He's had a big game for Leeds. He's been one of the few stars in the Leeds outfit. Big and strong. He's made some great breaks, and that surely must keep him in the Kiwi test side for the second test.
This is Whittaker again. Dwayne Mann is the dummy half, and he finds Freeman. Freeman again. He has been once more at the heart of everything that New Zealand have done, hasn't he? And the prop forward Stewart has run strongly too. In fact, it's been a good all-round display this by the Kiwis, hasn't it?
Certainly has, especially in the backup department. That second phase of attack has been superb. Eager for work. That's the difference between the two sides.
Here's Freeman again, finds Hoppy. Freeman takes over once more. Logan Edwards gets the ball away to Dwayne Mann. Mann side foots it towards the post. Just too strong. But what a comprehensive destruction of Leeds this is now turning into.
Oh, it's turning into a touch and pass situation, isn't it? Let's just keep the ball alive. Harlem Globetrotter stuff. A bit too strong there by Dwayne Mann. He's had a strong game too. He's worked hard.
A frustrating day then again for Leeds players and supporters and coaching staff. Here is... Ooh, that's a dangerous tackle. It was a terribly dangerous tackle by Stewart. And the referee has given a penalty. I think it's James Lowe's. It is.
Yeah, well, he releases him. He realises he was doing the wrong thing. That's not what we want in our game. Oh, luckily, the big fella didn't follow through with his body. That's how he can get seriously hurt.
We enter the final minute with Leeds on the attack with Fallon. through two, but can't get through the last line of defence. Now here comes the substitute, Latham, so close. Leeds ending on a flourish after all the punishment they've taken second half. Gregory, back inside to Schofield. Schofield gets the ball away straight into the arms of Freeman. Here they go. Over the top from Logan Edwards to Freeman again. Now the other substitute, Mark Nixon. Back to Freeman once more. Nixon again taking over. And a good job that the Leeds two, Scales and Iro, had funneled back to cut the options down. But are they in here? Donnelly! He gets it down. Yes, try. They moved from one end of the field to the other. It looked like Leeds had held them up, but Jason Donnelly had other ideas. Touchdown in the corner.
Well, Freeman takes the intercept. Now, Fallon made a run earlier to this, and there you could see Freeman read it, knew that Schofield was trying to keep that ball alive. Now, the funny thing about it is that getting back to the way Fallon got the ball away, Leeds expected that he wasn't going to make a break. They were setting up for something else. Good play there by Mark Nixon. Freeman gets it out. Nixon again. Come on, fellas. Anyone want it? Simple as that. Now, look at this point. They've done the work, but no one's looking on the blind side. This guy is Jason Donnelly. Catch your napping, and I'm afraid that Tate tried to charge him into touch. Not when you got a big fella like Jason Donnelly coming at you. That was a well-taken try. You read it well.
So the scoreline gets an even worse look about it as far as Leeds are concerned, but the New Zealanders will be absolutely thrilled with this. 35-6. 34-4 it was in 89. So have they improved on that? Well, you can make your own mind up. It's been a comprehensive display by New Zealand, and it means they will go back to the test arena in tremendous heart. Whittaker with the conversion attempt. It's got a chance. It just dropped underneath the crossbar, so not the extra two. 35-6. There's the final siren. Jason Donnelly with the applause, boos from the terraces here at Headingley. But Leeds have been well and truly outplayed by this Kiwi side. And Gary Freeman knows that next Saturday at Wigan against Great Britain, it's the point of no return. For New Zealand, 35 points to 6, their best display on the tour, and I wonder how many of those New Zealand names on that caption will have played their way into the test team next Saturday. Certainly Aaron Whittaker, the standoff half, might have done.
Aaron, a pretty impressive performance by the Kiwis.
Yeah, definitely. The forwards laid the platform, and the backs just sort of helped the forwards, and it was, the forwards just took it away. It was great.
You didn't do yourself any harm there with your test chances, did you?
No, that's what I'm there for. Normally playing halfback, but Howie gave me a chance to play at 5'8", so I hope I've taken my chance, and we'll see what happens from there.
It's not going to be easy now for Howie Tamati choosing this test side for the Central Park second test, is it?
No, well, that's what it's all about. That's what football's all about, People putting pressure on other people, for chances to make the test side, and that's what it's all about, and, that's just something, he's got to do, and, well, that's up to him now.
Dwayne, as vice-captain, you must be very happy with that performance.
Yeah, we're under a lot of pressure to perform, and really our inspiration came from the blokes who played against St Helens midweek, and they showed a lot of character and got the tour back on track. But it was vital for the blokes who played today to show how that their form was okay going into test selection time. But all in all, looking at the game, we went in at half-time and we thought we just needed to pick up the intensity a bit. They started to get their tails up towards the end of the first half, and we were glad to come through and score some good tries towards the end there and dominate the game throughout, really.
That was really the story of the game. Leeds put pressure on, but they couldn't turn those pressure into points. Every time the Kiwis came forward, they seemed to score points.
Yeah, they looked good out wide. They had Kim and Ira, who was running strong, and with players like Jim Fallon and Alan Tate, he's going to be dangerous in the test series. And Gary Schofield is still a class player. Andy Gregory showed some good touches today. But we're pretty happy with our sliding defence and just the way the guys worked, because they knew the pressure was on them to perform. And I say that with the props and some of the new blokes like Aaron Whitaker who's just spoken to, they had really good games, and it's pleasing to see that they can show some maturity and professionalism to come through against a top-class side like Leeds.
You must have been fairly confident yourself, slipping that the drop goal over.
Oh, I don't know, touch and go, there's a bit of pressure and I'd say a bit of luck involved there. We worked away and we ended up getting a bit unstuck there on the last tackles that, you make your luck, and I'm happy to get one over.
Howie, first of all, your reaction to that game?
I'm very pleased, obviously. It's another step along the road after the Wembley game. A lot of blokes out there having to recover their confidence, and that's what happened out there today. I thought we were a little bit shaky in the first half, but they grew in stature in the second half and played the type of football I knew they could play.
It probably makes it more difficult now for yourself to choose the test side.
Yeah, well, it's always going to be tough, but I'm pleased for the players. It puts a lot of pressure back on me and the management to pick the right side to play in the second test.
Some of the players were saying that they wanted the tour to get back on the tracks. It looks like it is now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that win over St Helens midweek was a great one, really, because it was a really tough game. It's the toughest game on tour. And now today, where they showed they can play football. And one of the pleasing things is the fact that a lot of the younger players who had to play in the midweek games early on are now playing with the Saturday guys, if you like, and gaining confidence and starting to believe in themselves as well.
And next week, Central Park's make or break time.
Well, for sure, we always know that we're over here to win the test matches. These other games at the end of the day don't count in the long run. It's what happens in the test series. I believe that we're a good enough side, if we're competitive, that we can win this next test. It's a matter of us going out there and playing. I don't believe at Wembley we played.
Weather-wise.